Alan Cate thought he was coming down with a cold when his symptoms first began, but when he developed numbness in his feet and was unable to grip a pencil, he knew something was seriously wrong. A trip to the emergency room revealed that Alan had Guillain-Barré syndrome, a rare disorder in which the body's immune system attacks the nervous system. In 7 short hours, Alan was completely paralyzed and couldn't even open his eyes.
It's a lot changing. I mean, one day I go to work and my husband's standing upright, it's just normal. And within a day, your whole life has changed.
Despite his inability to open his eyes or move, Alan was still conscious, able to hear others, yet unable to respond. He was suffering from a rare neurological disorder called locked-in syndrome.
So then we started playing music, things in his ICU room, because he was in there. He says he remembers hearing us talk, and how upset we were. But we stayed there for like 30 days almost.
I couldn't figure out what was going on, I couldn't even move. I couldn't even move my eyes, but I could hear. And so I kept listening and listening. And finally, I understood what it was.
It was devastating at first, and we coped. For 8 months, we spent every minute. He was never alone. And my daughter and son, we spent every minute there.
You were the one, always on my side, always on my side, always standing by, always standing by, seeing me through.
Alan and his wife Cheryl knew they had a long journey ahead of them. Alan eventually opened his eyes, but was still completely paralyzed. They knew Alan's recovery depended on getting aggressive therapy and that Siskin Hospital was the place they needed to be.
You have no idea what despair is. But they started therapy that morning. It wasn't next week or anything. When she said, "You're at Siskin Hospital to do rehabilitation on you, and it starts now." And there are no other facilities like Siskin Hospital. And with this disease, if you don't use those muscles, they deteriorate, so, and I remember the first time my daughter and I looked at the website here, there was a little section where you treated Guillain-Barré patients.
Working with skilled inpatient therapists, sometimes 4 or 5 at a time, Alan used a variety of machines, including an auto-ambulator, a sophisticated treadmill that Superman actor Christopher Reeve used as part of his therapy.
They strap you in, and the machine, you actually walk. It stands you up erect, and then you walk. Legs move, arm, and everything.
They teased him about being Lazarus, laying flat.
If I hadn't come to Siskin Hospital, then, I'd be in an old age home, stretched out in a bed, if I was still alive, and not being able to do anything but talk.
Remarkably, a few short weeks later, Alan was discharged as a Siskin Hospital inpatient and left in a wheelchair. However, he continued to receive therapy at Siskin Hospital's outpatient pavilion 3 times a week. There, he began the transition from wheelchair to walker.
I could put my elbows on this walker and then strap my hand, and I could walk. Beats a wheelchair.
Carolyn said, "We want to give him back to you, and we want to send him home in better shape than he came here."
Alan completed his outpatient therapy and continued to make progress at Siskin Hospital's fitness center, where he worked out several times a week. Even though his official therapy was over, his therapist still checked up on him, making note of his progress. This encouragement and the use of the state-of-the-art facility and its equipment allowed Alan to continue to make tremendous strides. Today, he's walking, caring for himself, taking family vacations, and once again enjoying his retirement years.
Yeah!
You retire, you think you're going to have rest of your days to play with the grandchildren, do whatever you want to do. And then one day you wake up, and it's not like that. We're just so thankful that Siskin is here in our town. So fortunate. People just have no idea what this institution can do.
Siskin Hospital gave me back my life. That's for real. My family and my life. And I really appreciate it. Because that's about all I've got. That's all I want. I want just my family and my grandbabies. That's all I need.